Ever wonder why some people seem sincerely fulfilled while others chase endless achievements yet feel empty? The secret lies not what you pursue, but why you pursue it. When your financial decisions and life choices align with what truly matters to you, something remarkable happens. Success takes a new meaning, and fulfillment becomes the natural outcome rather than an evasive goal. Greetings, my beautiful souls. Today, I want to share some of my deep personal understandings with you and some life changing insight that I've gathered along my life journey. These revelations have completely transformed the way I approach life, and I truly believe they can make a profound difference for you too. The road wasn't easy to get here, but every twist, turn, and challenge along the way has taught me some valuable lessons about purpose, perspective, and the power of inner growth. These insights aren't just ideas, they are practices and mindset shifts that have shaped how I handle my relationships, my finances, and personal goals. Ever since I embraced them, I've seen a shift in my energy, my decisions, and my overall sense of fulfillment. I hope that sharing this, you might find some clarity and strength to navigate your journey with more intention, peace, and joy. What I've realized over the years is that life is a journey that needs direction, especially during uncertain times. I discovered that having a set of fundamental truths to hold on to can make all the difference in the world when life feels turbulent. This concept of finding my true north and discovering my authentic self, my core values, and my purpose has been truly transformative for me. Most of my values and morals were instilled as a young boy by my grandmother, and I carry them to this very day. As I grew up and began to encounter different experiences while exploring leadership development, it all came together like a final piece to the puzzle, sliding in perfect place, and the picture suddenly made perfect sense. I noticed that it was all about aligning my actions with my beliefs. I realized I had to walk the walk, not talk the talk. I had to get real with myself. For me, everything started when I focused more on self-awareness. It's like being a coach and a player at the same time, living your life while also stepping back and observing your thoughts, emotions, and actions with intention all at the same time. This taught me to learn that understanding my values, desires, strengths, and weaknesses can help me avoid unnecessary detours in life. I always think of it this way. Life is like a garden. You must understand the soil you're working with before you can cultivate and grow anything meaningful. I spent years trying to grow roses in rock soil, forcing myself into careers and spending time building things that didn't align with who I truly am. Only when I truly understood my natural tendencies, I was able to create something beautiful that aligned with who I was at the core. When I began to identify with who I was and started to explore my unique gifts, everything in my life started to shift for the better. It was truly refreshing to recognize the natural talents that define who I am. Whether it was my leadership style, how I approach creativity, my deep yearning for empathy, or how my brain was wired to never give up. It led me to love and cherish the fact that there isn't anyone else like me. There's no two fingerprints alike, and no two people's gift patterns are the same. Now that makes us all truly something special. Although I know I'm special and unique, it doesn't mean that I have life completely figured out. It took the insight of others as well to help me identify some of my gifts. It's easy for us to get stuck in our heads. We always have some kind of misconception about ourselves, whether it's our strengths or our weaknesses. And it's easy at times for others to see those gifts we possess before we do. That's exactly why I'm a firm believer that feedback is an essential part of my evolution. And man, let me tell you, I had no idea I was so blind to some of my gifts and how eye-opening it can be to see things from an outside perspective. But the real breakthrough came when I started connecting those gifts with my purpose and understanding how they could contribute to something bigger than myself. I started looking at my gifts like I was tuning an instrument. I may have had the strings, but it took intention to bring them into harmony. I noticed my gifts were always there, but until I recognized, refined, and played with them, the true sound wouldn't be heard. And for the record, recognizing my gifts didn't mean that I had no weaknesses or limitation. One of the hardest lessons in my life was facing my weaknesses and embracing my limitations with grace. I'm not sure about you, but I don't know of anybody who gets excited about identifying with their limitations. And I am no different. For years, I saw my weaknesses as failures and beat myself up about them. Now I view them as natural boundaries. It's like a river flowing around rocks. The rocks may block the path, but the river doesn't fight them. It simply adapts and finds new ways to continue its journey. I can remember when I first became mayor. I was like a jazz musician fumbling through a solo, tripping over the details and administrative tasks. It was chaotic until I brought in a chief of staff to help keep the rhythm. That's when I started keeping what I call a struggle list. They were a list of tools that I couldn't quite master yet, but I wrote them down and figured out who could help me play it. I learned that my limitations aren't roadblocks. They are just the offbeats in the song. Instead of fighting them, I've learned to improvise and find new ways to make the melody flow. One practice that truly changed the game for me is this. Whenever I bump against my limitations, whether it's fear, doubt, frustration, or even fatigue, I pause and I ask myself, how can I work with this? I do not fight it. I don't deny it. And I don't run away from it, but I work with it. This simple mental shift changes everything for me. It moves me from resistance to resourcefulness, from victimhood to creative power, from judgment to curiosity. Instead of seeing my limitations as a dead end, I now see them as an invitation for me to grow, to innovate, and to listen more deeply to what's really going on inside of me. It's not about pretending challenges don't exist. It's about engaging with them with compassion and looking at it like a partner instead of an enemy. And that has been incredibly empowering for me. This doesn't mean the work is easier, but it does make me stronger, more flexible, more aligned with my purpose. And self-reflection has become my superpower. In a world full of noise and constant movement, it offers me a much needed pause. It helps me create potential space to sort my thoughts, emotions, and patterns. It's like wiping the fog off a mirror that allows me to see myself and my path with greater clarity. Through self-reflection, I've begun to understand the why behind the what. It also helps me understand why I react the way I do, why certain patterns keep repeating themselves, and why I feel stuck or empowered in certain areas of my life. This became the first step towards my meaningful growth. It also helped me align with my purpose and reconnect with my values, visions, and voice. It reminded me of who I truly am beyond my titles and daily responses. Self-reflection also helped me build up my emotional intelligence. It aided me into identifying my triggers and examining my communication style. And I began to understand how I showed up in my relationships. This awareness empowered me to lead a life with greater empathy and intention. It also taught me to take accountability without shame. It invited me to examine my actions and decisions, not to criticize them, but to correct them with greater clarity and maturity. I reframed my guilt and transformed it into growth. On a deeper level, self-reflection became my spiritual practice, a quiet space where my soul could listen and receive guidance from something greater than myself, whether it's God, my intuition, or my inner wisdom. Ultimately, self-reflection is not about looking back, it's about looking within so you can move forward with integrity, clarity, and purpose. It's been the key to my growth and self-mastery. I do a daily evening check-in, asking myself what energized me today or what drained me. If there's one question that's been particularly revealing, I ask myself, would I still do this if no one ever knew about it? This helps me cut through all the external validation stuff and get to the core of why I'm doing something. I also ask myself, am I doing it for me or am I doing it for applause? Something else I do is take a personal inventory every few months, like a SWOT analysis. I look at my strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, which gives me the framework to understand where I am and where I might want to go. I find that self-reflection is like looking in a mirror. You need clear, clean glass, good lighting to truly see. For me, that means creating space for honest introspection by getting rid of distractions. Some of my best insights have come during quiet moments of reflection. Setting my compass became a powerful metaphor for living my life with direction and alignment. It led to clarifying my core values, my purpose, and the vision I have for my life. Just as the physical compass always points north, my inner compass helps me stay grounded, what truly matters most to me. When my compass is set, my decisions become more intentional. I stop drifting or reacting aimlessly, and instead, I start making choices that reflected my purpose. It became easier for me to say yes to what aligns and to say no to those things that distract me. We all are aware that life will certainly bring challenges, distractions, and detours, but when my compass is set, it keeps me from losing myself, acts as a tool for my realignment when I feel off course. More than anything, setting my compass became a declaration. This is who I am. This is what I stand for. And this is where I'm going. It gives me clarity, confidence, and a sense of meaning as I navigate life. Ultimately, it's about choosing life by design and not by default. It anchors me in my purpose and guides me to my inner truth. After getting to know myself, I realized I needed to set my compass and define my direction by establishing core values and guiding principles. A ship without direction will drift aimlessly. And for too many years, that was me. I spent time defining my core values and those fundamental beliefs that shape my decisions, like integrity, growth, compassion, and authenticity. When I became aware of my values, it was like discovering the blueprint beneath the building. I realized that's been silently shaping every structure I've built in my life. You must know your values are often operating in the background, but once you see them clearly, you begin to understand why certain things feel right, wrong, fulfilling, or off track. One of the most clarifying moments in my life was turning down a major promotion because I realized it would compromise my core value of family time. It wasn't easy, but it was right for me. Now, that's what I mean by walking the walk in real time. After all my internal investigation and self-reflection, I stumbled over another profound breakthrough, the creation of my mission. It started with my core values, those principles that consistently guided my decisions and shaped how I showed up in the world. I asked myself what truly mattered to me when I felt most aligned and which values best reflected my true essence of who I am. From there, I considered my deep sense of purpose and what impact I wanted to have on others. I used this simple but profound template, and it goes as such. I exist to blank so that I can blank. This question helped me discover my why and led me to the driving force behind my action. Next, I reflected on my strengths and passions. I thought about what I was naturally good at, the things that energized me, and how I could use those gifts to serve others and make a difference. Once I went through the process, I knew my mission was rooted in intention, but also aligned with my universal design. This is when I truly envisioned my ideal legacy, It made me consider the kind of person I wanted to become, how I wanted to be remembered, and the positive change I wanted to help create. All these elements came together unannounced to me in the form of my mission statement. It was wild, I'm telling you. It was literally like something took over my pen. And don't laugh at me, folks. I still use pen and paper to write down my thoughts for all of you young folks who only use computers. I began to write down these sentences that were supposed to express who I am, what I value, and what I was committed to do or becoming. But I couldn't do it. You would have thought it was someone asking me to write a dissertation or something. I kept saying to myself, it must be specific, honest, and energizing. After about the 25th time of attempting to refine and make it feel authentic and resonate deeply within myself, seriously, I couldn't do it. I'm not lying. I just gave up. I was so frustrated. I kept repeating to myself, it wasn't supposed to be this difficult. Needless to say, I didn't finish my mission statement that evening, but if anyone knows me, they know that I wasn't going to give up. That night before I went to bed, I asked God to assist me. And when that morning came, I was determined to knock this task out. I sat at my desk, and sure as my name is Frank Gillian, I couldn't think of anything, not one word. After sitting there for about 5 minutes or so, mind you, it felt like an eternity. Something came over me. I picked the pen up, and just like that, I had my mission statement. My mission is to help people achieve change that aligns with their purpose. A few weeks had gone by while I was driving to work, and it dawned on me. The reason that I was unable to create my mission statement was that I was trying to do it generically. I realized that my mission statement had to be authentic and something that resonated deep within my spirit. Today, I keep it in a place where I can see it, and I let it guide my decisions, relationships, and even my habits. I know now that I'm truly living my life by design and not by default, but with much more clarity, confidence, and powerful sense of direction. When I first wrote my mission statement 5 years ago, it was focused on achievement. Now it's centered more on connection and service. I see my mission statement as my North Star, a fixed point to guide my journey so I can always orientate myself when I feel lost. Once I had my values and mission statement clear, my decision-making became much easier. Now I run choices through a simple framework. Is it honest? Is it fair? Does it benefit others? Would I be comfortable if anyone knew about it? It's like a filter that helps me stay true to myself. Something fascinating I noticed is how my body gives me clues about my decisions. Fear-based choices create tension in my shoulders and chest, while decisions rooted in my principles usually feel calmer with a sense of openness. I've also discovered the power of building integrity through small promises, even if it's just committing to just 5 minutes of daily meditation. That consistency has helped me build self-trust and strengthen my commitment to my principles. I look at my good decisions now as stepping stones across a river. Each step helps me reach the far shore. It's all about those small steps, that incremental progress in the right direction. I used to be a daydreamer without action. Now I dream of purpose. It's all about having a vision backed by intention and action, not just wishful thinking. I truly believe dreams are the engine of my meaningful life. I've learned to distinguish between superficial ambition and goals that nourish my soul. At one point, I chased financial success above all else, but I've shifted my focus on creating work that makes a positive difference. It's about the motivation behind my goals and what's truly driving me. I now set goals that pull me forward, things I honestly want to achieve versus things I feel like I should do. That word should is always a red flag for me now. When I decided to start this YouTube channel, I broke down this big dream into smaller steps, planning content, learning video editing, improving my speaking skills. Goals are like seeds. Plant them in good soil, nurture them daily, and watch them grow. It takes time, effort, and consistency. One of my ongoing challenges is balancing ambition and contentment. I've learned that I can strive for things, but also appreciate what I have. Pursue goals with intention while cultivating gratitude. And I've stopped getting hung up on what other people think of me. That trap of "I'll be happy when" was stealing my joy for a long time. A practice that helps me is completing this sentence regularly. Even though I don't yet have blank, my life is rich because blank. This helps me reframe things, focus on the good, and celebrate those small wins along my way. We all face tough times, and God knows I've had my share. What's helped me keep hope alive is shifting my perspective, staying connected with supportive people, focusing on what I can control, and practicing gratitude even when things get hard. After experiencing a significant setback in my career a few years ago, I created what I call a hope box, a small box filled with notes about past successes, supportive messages from friends, and little mementos that uplift me when I am doubting myself. I've come to believe that hope is like a candle. Even the smallest flame can illuminate the darkest room. And sometimes that tiny flame is all I need to take the next step. Over time, I've identified some key elements needed for a fulfilling life: a clear sense of purpose, strong values, developing skills, building resilience, and nurturing relationships. Cultivating inner peace has become critical for me. I've learned that outer achievements bring little satisfaction without inner calm. So I practice mindfulness, self-reflection, letting go of negative thoughts, and self-compassion daily. A simple technique that helps me tremendously is that when I feel angry, pause and count to 10 before I react. Just creating that space, a little pause, can help make such a big difference in how I respond to situations. Life gets chaotic. We all know that. What's helped me stay centered is another technique I use, like deep breathing, reframing challenges, and letting go of what I can't control. I've even created a peace corner in my home, a dedicated space with comfortable cushions, inspiring books, and calming scents as a physical reminder to cultivate peace. When I am stressed, I use the 5-4-3-2-1 technique, acknowledging 5 things I can see, 4 things I can touch, 3 things I can hear, 2 things I can smell, and 1 thing I can taste. It grounds me immediately by engaging my senses. I think of inner peace as the eye of a hurricane. Stillness exists even in life's most powerful storms. Finding that still point has been life-changing for me. Building emotional resilience has also been an essential part of my journey. The ability to cope with emotional challenges and bounce back. I've learned to acknowledge my emotions without judgment, build a strong support system, prioritize self-care, cultivate positivity, and learn from my difficult experience. There's this critical distinction I had to learn between feeling emotion and letting it control me. I don't have to be ruled by my emotions. Developing a more nuanced emotional vocabulary has helped. Instead of just saying, "I feel bad," I identify the specific emotion. Is it sadness, disappointment, frustration, understanding? It better helps me process it. Taking care of my physical body is also important. I look at my body as the vehicle for my journey in life. When I neglect the basic needs like nutrition, hydration, exercise, and rest, everything seems to suffer. My body is like a garden. What I plant and how I tend to it ultimately determines what flourishes. It's about those daily choices, those small habits that compound over time. I experienced firsthand the powerful connection between my body and mind, how they influence each other. Physical sensations like headaches or stomach pain often gives me clues about my emotional state. And on the flip side, I can use my body to shift my mood. Even a confident pose before an important meeting can make me feel more confident. Nourishing myself intellectually and emotionally has been vital. Through learning mindfulness, surrounding myself with positive influences, reflection, or creativity, I truly believe my thoughts ultimately shape my reality. What I focus on will grow. Lifelong learning has become a core value as well. Last year, I started video editing and learning golf. Also, I make a point to read articles outside my interests every day to broaden my horizons. I found teachers everywhere, not just in classrooms. Sometimes the most profound insights come from unlikely sources, even from my children. Protecting myself from harmful influences has been critical for my mental health. Setting boundaries around people, environments, and monitoring what I consume online. My attention is like water. What I choose to pour on it ultimately grows. Developing critical thinking skills have also helped me navigate today's information overload, not just consuming information, but evaluating it by analyzing it objectively, questioning assumptions, considering different perspectives, and looking at the evidence. Critical thinking is my filter. It catches impurities before they can contaminate my mind. Finally, creating meaningful connections has been the most rewarding part of my journey. Building relationships based on trust, understanding, and shared value. I've learned that loving deeply means being present, vulnerable, empathetic, and practicing forgiveness. It's hard work, but loving truly is the greatest force for human happiness. I've experienced so many different types of love throughout my life: romantic love, unconditional love, family love, playful love, enduring love, and perhaps the most important, self love. Recognizing love shows up in so many ways enrich my life immeasurable. So that's my deep dive into the wisdom I gathered along my journey. I'd love to hear what resonated with you most. Drop me a comment below and let me know what concept you'd like me to explore further in future videos. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the insights that can transform your life. Until next time, keep finding your true north, peace, and love.